Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ. Kamehameha Schools, empowering Hawaiian keiki to explore, discover, and inspire. ABC Stores, a local company helping to transform education and develop Hawaii's workforce through bold learning initiatives like HIKI NŌ.
HIKI NŌ, Hawaii's new wave of storytellers.
Welcome to this special COVID-19 Student Reflection edition of HIKI NŌ. In this episode, we'll be highlighting some of the top HIKI NŌ stories from previous rounds of shows before schools were shut down because of the COVID-19 pandemic. In between these stories, HIKI NŌ students will be giving their reflections on life in the COVID-19 era as they shelter in place at home. Here is my reflection. Hi, I'm Christina Alonzo from Maui High School, and I'm speaking to you from my home in Kahului. I'm safe in quarantine due to the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm a senior, and I was really looking forward to spending the fourth quarter with all of my classmates and friends. Now it seems that our graduation ceremonies will be canceled, and I'm going through a lot of mixed emotions. I understand the severity of the situation because my grandmother lives with us, and I don't want to put her life in danger, but at the same time, I'm truly heartbroken thinking of all of the once-in-a-lifetime experiences that I'm going to miss out. The COVID-19 pandemic has definitely brought a lot of uncertainty and change to the world, but one thing I know for sure is that there's always an after. After quarantine, we have to appreciate each other with acts of kindness. After we return to school, we have to appreciate the fact that we can go to school. After we overcome this, things will not be the same, but in many ways, we will be stronger. The following story from students at Waiākea High School on Hawaiʻi Island taps into the healing power of felines.
My name is Lauren. I am the Community Programs Director at Hawaiʻi Island Humane Society.
Lauren takes on the responsibility of managing all 3 Humane Society shelters on Hawaiʻi Island, including the Keaʻau, Kona, and Waimea shelters. After being exposed to the stray animal problem across the entire island, Lauren began her search for a creative way to find forever homes for thousands of shelter animals. Even with 3 shelters island-wide, the Humane Society is still forced to
take in about 10,000 animals every year. About 50% of that is cats. So we have very limited resources at our shelter. So that includes funding, volunteers, space is a huge problem for us. So one day I was at our shelter and I was in our kitten area and I was playing with some kittens, and we had all these kittens for adoption. I was trying to think of ways to get them adopted, and I was listening to our staff and they were talking about how stressed they are because it's hard working in the shelter, and they were saying that they wanted to go do yoga for relaxation. And I literally looked at the kitten and I listened to my staff and I went, kitten yoga, and I was like, is that a thing? Can I make that a thing? And that's how it happened. Kitten yoga is a really great way to get our cats out of the shelter environment. It also gives the kittens a chance to interact and play and for people to get to know their personalities. And it's a great chance for them to just be kittens.
We like to have this event because the adults who come to classes regularly can bring their kids into the studio. So it's nice to be able to have something that the whole family can go to.
Yeah, I think it was more fun because the cats came and crawled on you and stuff.
So our cost for these events is pretty low. The studio donates their time, and we just pay for an instructor. So everything goes back to helping the animals, which is really fun for us.
Since hosting the first kitten yoga event, the Hawaiʻi Island Humane Society has already seen the program leave a positive influence on the whole community.
So we had a really special kitten come into our shelter, and his name is Levi, and he was a blind kitten. And the last time we did kitten yoga, he got to come to our event, and he got adopted. And that was really special because we've been looking for a home for Levi for a while, and even the day of the event, I didn't know if he would be okay for us to bring him. And I made a last-minute decision to bring him, and he ended up finding his forever family. I hope to gain an awareness from the community that we definitely need people to adopt animals. Anybody can help in any way. So even if you can't adopt, think about fostering. If you can't bring an animal home temporarily, think about volunteering at our shelter or at events. If you can't volunteer your time, think about donating. Even $1 counts, or old towels, or anything. We always need help in any way. So I really think anybody can get involved with helping our animals.
If a donation is too much of a stretch, simply reaching out to the shelter volunteers and thanking them is enough. This is Taylor McCann from Waiākea High School for HIKI NŌ.
Aloha, I'm Leiolani Faurot, a senior at Sacred Hearts Academy, speaking to you from my home. And coronavirus has severely changed my life. It was a week before spring break and I was so excited for Merrie Monarch. My sister and I danced for Hula Halau o Kamuala and we had just practiced our kahiko that Monday. When I heard that the festival was canceled, I was devastated. My mom even let me stay home from school the next day. See, when I was 13, my kumu asked me to dance with my halau at Merrie Monarch, and that's the youngest you can be to compete. I was so honored. My sister and I did 3 competitions together and numerous trips to Japan. Then I decided to take a break my junior year to focus more on school. So this was going to be my last competition because come fall, I'm planning on either attending the University of Oregon or Seton Hall and leaving my sweet Hawaii. The following story from students at Waiākea High School in West Oʻahu focuses on 4 sisters who pulled together during a family crisis.
What are you doing this in?
Janae, Jodeci, Janaya, and Journey are prepping for the big game.
Oh! Are you ready for Monday's game?
I don't know, I'm nervous, but I'm ready to play.
It's 2 days before Janae and Jodeci play the biggest game of their volleyball careers. Their opponent is top-ranked Moanalua.
Don't worry, you got him.
They take care of each other.
Jodeci, did you do the dogs?
No, but I'll do it.
I think we all just have to make sure that we're okay at home, make sure that we're taking care of each other.
If you're wondering where Mom and Dad are in this story, well, 2.5 years ago, Mom was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic thymoma cancer. They haven't been home all weekend because Mom is getting treatment. But that hasn't taken the wind out of these girls' sails.
Me and my sisters, we had a lot of responsibility to take care of at home.
And they're like my second wind. They are the reason that I keep going and never give up.
My chores is take out clothes.
It sounds easy now. However,
nobody wants to hear that their family member has cancer, right? Nobody wants to hear that. I know we cried that whole week, I think.
The problems is grouping.
In a perfect world, these 4 girls would only have to be, well, 4 girls.
So to this day, right now, she's still fighting it. It only made us stronger in the end.
But when game time rolled around, Mom was there to support her daughters.
Defense, yes!
Win or lose this game, these sisters know the real battle they're fighting is one they'll win because they have each other. This is Tara Kapahua from Waena High School for HIKI NŌ.
Hi, I'm Ty Kajihara from Kauaʻi High School, speaking to you from my home. Something I missed from my life before sheltering at home is being able to record videos and take pictures of my friends. Since there isn't really much to film, I've been working on improving my editing skills. I've been adding graphics to videos in Adobe After Effects and editing my photos in Adobe Lightroom. In the past 4 years, there's a lot of footage I've collected but never did anything with until now. Life at home feels like a never-ending weekend. Not being able to see anyone besides my family makes me feel mentally and physically trapped. However, it gave me the opportunity to work on skills I never had the time for earlier. The following story from students at Farrington High School on Oʻahu follows a working mom who holds down 3 jobs in order to support her children.
In 2016, dreams of a better life for her family led Flordalisa Corpus to move from the Philippines to the paradise we call Hawaii. To her surprise, Honolulu is the country's third most expensive city to live in. Therefore, Lisa took up 3 jobs to support her children. She works as a caregiver and has jobs at 2 different restaurants.
Being at 3 jobs is not easy for me, but I try my best, and I do for this, for the future of my children.
To Flordalisa's son, Benedict, the time she spends at work takes away from time that could be spent as a family.
To me, balancing your work and your family life is very important. Although I may not have my own family, but I experienced my mom not having enough time with me and my sister more because she focused on her job. We had a compromise where she mentioned that she won't stop. She won't stop working 3 jobs up until I get educated and my sister.
Wala may dok ti amin atat no karoon ok time kanyayo na yo nga day off ko. Magtura na makaadal ka makaturpos ka ti college. Datok to di mesa. Yung tataakan pa lang anak ko. Kaya magkanak. Aganos kayo tayo lang kung na makaturpos kan to nakot, makaluwag-luwag tayo ton. Makabayad tayo to utang tayo. Siyempre kadagi to, dapat lang utang tayo basa kayo tayo mag.
Although Flordalisa cannot change her work circumstances, she understands the effect it has on her children. Like many families in Hawaii, the Corpus family has found that living in paradise comes at a costly expense. Flordalisa is determined to meet this cost and has made clear that the success of her children is priceless. This is Marcy Palileo from Farrington High School for HIKI NŌ.
Hi, I'm Aaliyah Nero from Chiefess Kamakahelei Middle School, coming to you from my home. Living in the COVID-19 era, I feel caged in because I'm unable to go outside. And I feel sad sometimes because I can't communicate with my friends and family physically due to this COVID-19. But for example, this Easter, me and my family that was with me, we had an Easter egg hunt outside of our yard, and it was only us because nobody could come over. And life now at home, it is very different than before. My routine is different, my sleep schedule is different, and doing online school, it can be very hard sometimes without having a teacher by your side to help you understand what you're learning. That can be hard too. But the positive things from this situation is that I learned how to use my time wisely, not going on social media or watching shows. Instead, I learned how to sew and learn new dance routines. The following story from students at Hongwanji Mission School on Oʻahu highlights a young map maker who charts the unknown continents of his imagination.
Cartography is the study of maps, but to me, cartography is creating your own world and creating a place for your imagination to go into.
These days, maps are tools many now use on smartphones and computers. For Hongwanji Mission School, 6th grader Sydney Cogswell, maps are unique works of art that he draws by hand. He became interested in map making in the summer of 2019.
I was watching this YouTuber who focused on D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, but I was really interested in the cartography part, so I decided to learn some techniques like drawing mountains, forests. So that's how I got into map making, and that's what I like.
Since then, Sydney creates one-of-a-kind maps with a unique characteristic.
I draw fictional maps based off of real-world landmasses. I don't really plan my maps, I make themes So I just focus on the terrain features. I do get inspiration from nature, like the jagged cliffs and, the ridges.
As he draws his maps, Sydney constantly looks for ways to make his maps better.
After I finish a map, I tend to just look at my maps, see what I did wrong, see how I can fix it and how I can make it look better and maybe change my process. And then I hang them up and then I admire them. The thing is, I don't ever get bored drawing maps because there's so many possible outcomes. You use your creativity, you make a world one way, another person uses their own creativity, make it another way. I like it because you have many, many possibilities.
Sydney has turned cartography into more than an interest. It's become a passion.
My biggest goal in cartography is to be able to make people have, fun with maps, I guess, and so that they can enjoy maps the way I like him.
As Sydney pursues his newly found passion, he'll continue to use maps as a canvas to display and share his unique worlds. This is Brody Tran from Hongwanji Mission School for HIKI NŌ.
Hi, this is Taylor McCann from Waiākea High School coming to you from my home. The coronavirus pandemic has indefinitely affected my family socially, emotionally, and economically. My mom is still working a 9-to-5 job 5 days a week. Every day when she gets home from work, she immediately disinfects her shoes and protective mask outside and throws her work clothes into the wash. After showering off her day's worth of germs, she's able to greet the family and sit down for dinner with us. Since she's the only person in our family who's regularly leaving the house, she's asked me and my sister to take on the task of cooking dinner. That way, we aren't risking spreading any germs to each other from the outside world through our food. With most of my family home 24/7, we've been making the most out of our situation by spending time with each other and finding new ways to keep our minds off of the stress we've been dealing with. Most importantly, we're making the best effort we can to stay inside, stay healthy, and stay informed in our community. The following story by students from Moanalua High School on Oʻahu is about a woman who possesses the proverbial heart of gold.
Relaxing? Yeah, you, Uncle. What you doing this weekend? I'm proud to say I work at Samurai Snacks Air. I just started, so it's about a month. I love it. It's my escape.
Iris Yafuso is great at customer service, but when she gets home, she gets to take care of her favorite customer.
Sometimes Auntie Iris is exhausted. She has to take care of her mom, and there's so much involved in taking care of her mom.
Mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's about 4 to 5 years ago. I did run my own business. We had a family business, Larry's Bakery. I did close that down because of the situation. It was just kind of rough on all of us. I didn't work for a while, and then my mom ended up going to daycare. But I sometimes join her at Halehaʻoli, Hawaii. Senior Lifestyle Ohana Fair. There's a variety of stuff here. And I help by volunteering. So I'm out there promoting the program and talking on the radio sometimes.
So she always tries to give back, like she's trying to educate the public. People our age, I think she's trying to educate us on how we can do it when our parents get like that.
As a caretaker, you never get paid. So like everybody else in Hawaii, I have bills, and my husband does work, but it's just not enough. I step back and go, I gotta do something.
Although Iris works 2 jobs, she doesn't let that get in the way of living her life to the fullest.
That's just her. She can talk to a wall and make friends with the wall, or she can make friends with anybody. Once she enters a room, she's like the life of the party,
To me, she's always happy and she always is upbeat, no matter what she's going through. She could have had only 3 hours of sleep, but she still comes into work very happy and energetic.
I always think of it as, live every day to the fullest and enjoy it. try not to get so upset about it because there's nothing I can do. It's the disease that makes her that way.
You gotta try it.
Cherish what I have with her because I don't know how much longer I have with her. My mom is my everything. She's gold.
Working hard for her mother is all worth it for Iris, knowing that the time she has with her is priceless. This is Mari Kimoto from Waena High School for HIKI NŌ.
Hi, I'm Sienna Jolie Racoma from Maui Waena Intermediate School, speaking to you from my home. What I miss the most from my pre-sheltering at-home life is being with my friends in person. Every day I go to school at 6:50 and just sit there alone until my friends show up so we can talk, make jokes, share snacks, and even do homework. What I'm doing to fill this void is texting and calling my friends. It feels really different and a little weird seeing them just through a little screen and not being able to physically be there with them. I can hear and see them, but I can't hug or touch them anymore. If we want a high five, we just hit our cameras. Times have changed, but thankfully my friendships have not. The following story from students at Hawaiʻi Middle School on Oʻahu is about a martial arts instructor who teaches his students much more than the art of self-defense.
I'm a misfit. I was a misfit kid. I'm still a misfit adult.
James Roberts is the chief instructor of hybrid Kempo at Martial Arts School in Ewa Beach, along with his wife, Jocelyn Roberts. A mix of self-defense, various martial arts, and philosophy, the art of Kaji Kempo has been in James's life for over 25 years. He continues to use the knowledge and wisdom given to him by his mentors in teaching his own students the ways of Kempo.
Like when I started martial arts, I just wanted to learn to fight. Being young, I suffered a lot of substance abuse, both within myself, family, friends, and that really put a lot of anger, a lot of violence in me, a lot of fear. And the martial arts kind of helped me stray away from those sort of things.
James and his wife Jocelyn started the school in 2011 to give a positive and helpful activity for the kids in the community.
To become an instructor, that was originally some of my first instructor's idea. It was them that said, if you want to be better as a martial artist, you have to know how to teach. So even as a young age, as young as a purple belt, when I was maybe 14, 15 years old, I was already leading classes with some of the young kids. That was my original they inspired me. From my previous instructors, there was one piece of advice is, once you stop learning, you stop growing. And I know that's maybe a common phrase that a lot say even outside of martial arts. That's really important. Like you're seeking that endless knowledge, especially within martial arts. And teaching, I believe, again, if we're talking about instructors, they were instructors, I'm now an instructor. So I believe that's one way is learning from them is pass this on. Don't just hold it for yourself. Tell your story about how it saved your life when you're young, and it continues to save your life as an adult. So just continue to grow and just keep teaching what you learn, and just have a positive attitude. You know, I learned a lot from them. Just keep a positive attitude, no matter what goes wrong that day. You just train the best you can with your students, and just continue to help develop them. We try to keep a good faith in our school, try to build our students to have that positive attitude so they could go as high as they want in life. One thing again is I'll just always seek that endless knowledge, you know, continue to learn, continue to grow, and just pass what you do on to the next generation.
Using the wisdom and guidance from his mentors and the lessons learned from his troubled childhood, James aspires to pass on the education of not only kicking and punching, but of life decisions, overall well-being, and faith to his students. This is Kevi Linsubaki from Hawaiʻi Middle School for HIKI NŌ.
Hi, I'm Skylar Masuda from Baldwin High School, speaking to you from my home. As a senior, I'm feeling a deep lack of closure, academically and socially. I've been preparing to move off island and attend college, and this final quarter is meant to be a period of transition. Now, not only is our graduation ceremony canceled, but I'm missing out on so much precious time with my friends and classmates. It's hard not to feel selfish when we're mourning these small experiences and not people, but it feels good to talk about this with other seniors. The best we can do is treat ourselves with understanding and kindness, and know that sadness isn't selfish, it's natural. To lift my spirits, I've been rewatching Scooby-Doo with my family, and I've been trying to stay involved with school activities through video calls and social media.
Thank you for watching this special edition of HIKI NŌ.
I hope you've enjoyed these stellar stories created by Hawaii's new wave of storytellers and that you've gained insight into the lives of Hawaii's young people in their student reflections. Tune in next week for more reflections in the life of COVID-19 and stories that continue to prove that Hawaii's students HIKI NŌ can do.
Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ. Kamehameha Schools, empowering Hawaiian keiki to explore, discover, and inspire. ABC Stores, a local company helping to transform education and develop Hawaii's workforce through bold learning initiatives like HIKI NŌ.